Coming up next on the Conscious Courage podcast.
Nobody should be controlling what pictures you like, who you follow. Why do you need to block? I don't need to block this person. There's nothing going on. But you had to actually block me because that's how far she was reading into things. Insecurity. Now, all people have insecurity, but that level where it's being projected onto somebody that doesn't deserve it.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to the Conscious Courage podcast, where we empower your mindset, refresh your spirit, and ignite your purpose. Hey, y'all. I'm your host, Davone'a, resilience coach, speaker, and advocate for your internal glow up. Here on this show, we dive deep into real conversations. So let's embark on this journey together. But before we get started, I need you to grab your pen, journal, and potentially a Kleenex, because you don't know what's going to come out, okay, during these here episodes and conversations. But I do want you to know this thing here, and that is through faith, focus, and courage, you can and you will transform your life. Just be patient with yourself. Welcome to the show. Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning, y'all. Welcome to another episode of the Conscious Courage podcast, and Happy New Year. This is our first episode of 2025. Today, I am thrilled to welcome Mrs. Isabelle Osborne to the podcast. Isabelle is a dedicated health and wellness advisor with a graduate degree in clinical mental health counseling. She is also the founder of Boundless Prosperity, LLC, a company devoted to helping individuals achieve holistic well-being by focusing on their mental, spiritual, physical, and emotional health. With over a decade of experience in the fitness and mental health professions, Isabelle holds multiple professional certificates, including certified personal trainer, percussion therapy, which I'll need you to explain that, okay? Can't even say it. And my zone heart rate. Her approach beautifully integrates the mind, body, and soul, guiding her clients toward a balanced and fulfilling life. Beyond her professional accolades, Isabelle brings a unique and deeply personal perspective on relationships, resilience, and self-growth. Her journey of mental, emotional, and spiritual transformation is both inspiring and empowering, and I am so excited to dive into her incredible story and the invaluable lessons that she must share with us today. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Isabelle, or Izzy. Yes. So how are you doing today? What's going on?
I'm doing well today, very well and blessed, and it's a pleasure for me to be here. Thank you for inviting me. You know, we have a friendship of many, many years, and it's an honor to be on your podcast. Yay!
Yeah, thank you for making the time. I know you are uber busy wife, entrepreneur, mother, and everything else that you have going on with your own business and speaking engagements and commitments. So thank you. And yes, we are friends for a long, long time. Actually, she was my supervisor, y'all, way back in the day. And then turned friend/sister. So I'm really excited about this conversation. In this episode, we are focused on healthier relationship outcomes. So our mental health before, during, and after marriage. But this is also applicable to those who maybe don't have an aspiration for marriage, but for a long-term relationship. Now, we're just going to dive right on in. I'm telling y'all right now, the conversation, just buckle up, okay? This will more than likely be a 2-part conversation, even bringing her right on back, because I know, like, I'm excited for the conversation. So starting off, just reflecting on your preparation on your first marriage. So are you willing to share with the team or in those that are listening, like the mindset and expectations and the lessons learned from the beginning half to where you are in the current state?
Yes. So for my first marriage, there was no preparation, and that's why it failed. I really believe. Growing up in a household of, my father was a pastor, my mother was in the Air Force. So we witnessed a strong family dynamic, even though my parents ended up divorcing, but we never saw any strife between the two. God was always put first.
Yes.
So I've always put God first in life. And so I thought that would be enough going into a marriage, but both people have to do so, not just one. There was no preparation. I did not, my first husband, we only dated for 3 months, and I went off to the Air Force basic training when I graduated and went to tech school. He then drove down to Mobile, Alabama. Well, I was stationed at Keesler. We drove down to Mobile and we got married. So literally it was a 7-month process. Do I believe that it takes a certain amount of time before you need to get married? Absolutely not. If God ordains it and he has that on your path, it's not a timeline assigned to it. I wouldn't say I rushed into it. I feel like I was well aware of what I was doing, but I feel like it was one-sided. There was no premarital counseling that I would have liked to take place. It was just, let's get married. And then that's when the hardships came, because there was no preparation. And so if you don't plan, what is the saying? Fail to plan, you plan to fail.
Yes.
So that is what led to the demise. If I had been prepared, I would not have married him in the first place. So the preparation begins with self. So I did not prepare to answer that question. There was no preparation. Going into my second marriage, I made the same mistake of not preparing myself emotionally and as far as healing from the first. I dove into, and we're happy and we're doing well, but it could have cut down a lot of issues that I brought into the marriage if I would have prepared correctly. Because I know my husband was prepared, but I wasn't.
Shout out, Mr. Osborne. Hey. That is so good in that unpacking it. So the preparation, and one of the questions I was going to ask you, but you answered it, is do you think there's a set timeline? And no, there isn't a set time frame if we have God in it and God speaks, which is phenomenal. The part on working on ourselves. So, I was engaged once upon a time, many, many years ago, and the gentleman and I separated, and he actually called the engagement off. And I've done a lot of introspection. I did a lot of introspection then, as well as going to counseling. But the biggest thing that stood out to me, and you kind of alluded to it in your transition into your second marriage, is doing the work internally. So I remember writing down in my little book everything that I wanted in a man. And I say that the guy I was engaged to, I always say he was perfect and he was the little man out of the book. What I failed to do was write down in that book, how am I going to show up? What am I going to do? How am I going to present myself? So although he showed up everything that I wanted, I didn't do the work for me, or I didn't do the work within. And I think that's a nugget that I wanted to make sure I highlighted, that whether you're a woman anticipating marriage or that long-term relationship, or vice versa, a man anticipating marriage or that long-term relationship, doing the work for you. It's real easy to go out here and write down everything that we want in the other person. But what about writing down how we need to show up and being whole in those areas before we make that transition? By that way, when you meet that person, they're not having to battle as much with that. In a sense, like you kind of just shared with transitioning into your marriage that you are in now, like, oh snap, there were still some things that you had to heal and work from. And you had to unpack it with Mr. Osborne. Thank God that he just stuck around and been patient. Okay, you two are honey, and I love it. This is my $1 million couple friends. Okay. I love it. So there is, in your boundless prosperity journey, you also have a YouTube channel and an Instagram where you post content. And a couple months ago, you had shared the common red flags that men should look out for when dating women, or like on the dating scene. And I thought that was a phenomenal topic, because more often than not, us ladies will get together and we're talking about, the red flags to look out for in a man, but we have red flags too. And so I do.
Sure
When
did.
we don't do the work. And so I want to discuss those red flags that men should look out for or not overlook in relationships, and why it is critical for them to recognize those red flags in us ladies.
Yes. So does the woman, is she secure in herself? Did she
Mm.
do her work? Does she love herself? That's the first red flag, and that'll show off the bat.
Now, what should they
Because
look out for when you say that? Oh, okay, go.
so they definitely should look out for, they need to pay attention to what the woman is saying. They
Mm.
need to observe her. So one of the big red flags that a lot of women show that are insecure is is projecting onto that man.
Mm.
So if she starts accusing you of things, or she's very insecure, she accuses you of potentially talking to another woman when you're on your phone. I mean, she's looking at that. She's going through, for instance, a great story, because I have a friend that I've known since the Air Force. I joined the Air Force in 2009. We
Okay.
don't talk all of the time, but we've always been friends on social media. And
Mm.
so he sent me a message pretty much telling me that he actually was told to block me
Mm.
because she was looking at the videos that he like. All of my content is inspirational.
Yeah.
And so when I would see him post inspirational, I would like that, and he would like, so she was pretty much following that.
Mm.
And so that's a big red flag. Long story short, their relationship ended because she was so insecure. So
Mm.
insecurity will show itself if she is grilling you about, who is this woman? What's this? That's a big red flag.
Good.
That's one of the biggest.
Red flag. Y'all take that.
Insecurity, and it will show itself immediately.
Yes. Or were
Yep.
there any additional red flags? I felt like that
Um,
in that video it was like a minute long or 2 minute long, and you were just boom, boom, boom. I said, yeah, we got to get that captured. Help these
yes,
men out. Help these men out.
there are some additional red flag, and I just have to be honest. I come on your podcast, I just gotta be honest.
Yeah.
If you notice that, and it's kind of hard to put to words, and I know during my video, I would say one of the biggest red flags
Yeah.
is dealing with money.
Mm.
If she asks you, how much do you make? Why is she concerned about that?
Yeah.
It's just the beginning stages. Why do you care? How
Mm.
much do you make? If she's asking you to pay for things, that's a big red flag. Common example, I need my nails done. Are you going to send me money for that? Get out of that there now.
Run, run, run.
Run, run, run. Those are the off the bat red flags. There's
Yeah.
different levels of it. But from the very beginning process, people at this stage in 2025, you no longer have to wait months to get for people to tell you who they are. They tell you within the first day. If you
Yes.
see those two red flags on the onset, you need to get out. If she's immediately accusing you of things, or if she's asking you to pay for things off the bat, you need to watch out.
That is good in that I can see, or I have heard that a lot of women, they are like, take me out to eat and get me this and get me that and
Mm-hmm.
nails this and
Mm-hmm.
hair that. And a man may or may not look at that as a red flag. And then I start looking at myself in relationships. I'm like, I don't think I'm
Mm-hmm.
asking for enough, because they are here getting trips and nails and everything else. And I'm just like, you want to hang out? Like,
But if you
what am
see
I doing
the
wrong?
value in yourself, you don't ask. It's given.
Yes.
Why
Mm.
do I need to portray? Why do I need to come off the rip saying that? And what do you have to give? It's not
Mm.
just the man giving.
Yes.
What are you showing? It's not just the woman giving. The man
Yeah.
needs, it goes both ways.
That
So
is.
the two major red flags that men need to watch out for, those are the two. Now, nobody's perfect, so of course I won't say arguments are being argument. I mean, we're flawed.
Yeah.
But if you see those two things, run for the hills.
Ooh.
So nobody should be controlling what pictures you like, who you follow. Why do you need to block? I don't need to block this person. There's nothing going on. But you had to actually block me because
Yeah.
that's how far she was reading into things. Insecurity. Now, all people have insecurity, but that level where it's being projected onto somebody that doesn't deserve it, and then putting a price tag. Well, if you, because I've seen so many videos before our TikToky was taken off. There were so many times that women have told men, I want to get my hair done. And they're thinking that the man is supposed to pay. Honey, I just met you.
Yeah.
Because the reason why I only give 2 red flags is because men are simple-minded. No offense, but they don't. Those are the 2 things that they is loud in your face, men.
Yeah.
Because women, they're not that men are. When I say simple-minded, you know what I mean. They're not as complex as women. We have all of these different requirements, and you know how we are, how we think. Men just whatever they see is what they believe. So because those 2 shout out so loud, those are the 2 that they need to watch out for.
Now, would you ever look at, and that's good, so y'all make sure y'all take notes, okay? That is, boom, she in your pockets, okay, what you got going on, and then 2, she's controlling. And I'm like, ooh, the controlling part, I've been delivered. But that sound like
That's why you got real quiet. But hey, you've been delivered.
I've been delivered. So going way back, many years when I was engaged, I do remember there was one sad person that was always in Buddy's like DMs and comments, and never did I go through his phone. We were very open, in which he had my password, I had his, whatever, and he'll go through his phone like, oh, look at this. And I'm like, dang, why Miss Ma'am she everywhere. And so I do remember him sending a note like, oh, my fiance says blah, 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 right? I was like, oh, you didn't have to go that far. I don't know if I probably just mentioned like, hey, like y'all need to watch y'all comms because I don't know what's happening. Something just seems off. And then fast forward, we are staying together, and somehow at the time he was going to school overseas, came back, we're staying together. Let me paint the scene. And somehow Miss Ma'am ended up in the same location that we were, like same exact location. And he said, oh, just so you know, such and such is in this area. And it just didn't seem right. Not that I did ask him if there was anything going on, but it just didn't seem right. So I guess it's like knowing, I don't know, picking and choosing. I haven't experienced anything like that, but that just stood out to me. Like,
yes,
and now y'all back stateside and y'all right here. And mind you, we were on a base, not throwing like daggers or anything. Just you mentioning that's the only instant I've ever had that kind of experience. And I was like, something just seemed off. I don't know.
But see, you weren't searching for it.
No, I was not.
He was showing you, and then you expressed your honesty, like, I'm not comfortable. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm talking about the ones that are searching and looking through likes, and because men don't think all into that.
Yeah,
they don't.
Ad break. Are you seeking an electrifying speaker to ignite transformation in your audience? Well, look no further. Hi, I'm Davone'a, real estate investor, Air Force veteran, and host of the Conscious Courage podcast, where new episodes are released every Monday, 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time via YouTube and all streaming audio platforms. I specialize in delivering impactful keynote speeches that inspire change and elevate your minds. Whether it's a virtual gathering or an in-person event, I bring passion, expertise, and a unique delivery to every arena or every environment that I'm in. Let's captivate your audience together and create an unforgettable experience. Contact me today to book your next event, and let's embark on this journey of transformation, or let's get all of your attendees on this journey toward internal glow up. You can book me via my website by going to www.davoneatashay.com. I'll spell that for you. It is www.DAV as in Victor, ONEATASHAY ae.com. I look forward to connecting with you. Take care.
So it's like it's nothing wrong with a woman expressing her concern. Like, why is this lady coincidentally here? And then just you say it and leave it alone. Don't keep nagging about it. But do express your concern, but you weren't searching.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the women that search where they'll call other women. You've been talking to my husband, honey, don't or
Not
we're going far. I'm just saying, like the things that I went through when I was single,
no, I understood.
you know, and the on the other end of men, you know, that's a whole different conversation. But it's one thing being crazy, insecure, accusing when you don't even know. Those are red flags.
Yes. No, the when you said women reaching out, I remember there was this time, I don't even know how many years ago, and they were like, I'm coming to you as a woman. Like, don't nobody start an idea talking about I'm coming to you as a woman. Bye.
I've gotten so many. I'm coming to you as a woman when I was single. It's not my fault that this person told me they weren't married.
Ooh,
Go to the man. Don't
yes.
come to me.
I think that's
And that girl better be glad she didn't come to me, my friend's ex, because honey, there's gonna be a read for the gods. Because
not
I'm
a read
happily married. So.
yes. Yes, you are. Okay. I think that is a good, not segue, but a good point to reach out is people need to go to their spouse. Like not going to the person because sometimes that spouse, like you said, they're not disclosing all information. They're withholding that they're married and or in a relationship and or whatever the case may be. And then they really the ones who have their partner looking at food. Looking like food with your pants on the
And
ground.
that's
Like,
who the accountability is, not for the other person.
yeah.
You go to the source. Why would you pull them? They don't have nothing to do with it. Now, if they knew the person was married, you're not married. It's still not their problem because you're married. You're not married to them. The person that you are married to is who you need to go to. But
Now, hold on,
those
sir.
two red flags, men, watch out.
If the outside person know that buddy is married or sister girl is married, they out of pocket.
They're out of pocket.
Yeah.
But it's not their marriage. Now they're going to answer for that. But once again, why go to them? My commitment is with the person I'm married to. That's who we have words with. We don't run to the outsider. Now the outsider is completely wrong and definitely complacent for that. And they will be dealt with by God. But I'm married to you. So therefore that's who I go to. Both people. You see what I'm saying? Like,
I see what you're saying.
It's
The
hard
part of
to swallow.
yeah.
But stop blaming, even if a man. Now, I mean, God, I know men, they deal with cheating completely different. It's death at that point. They're like us, where they'll
Just do
forgive.
us part. Isn't that what I said?
When men find their women cheat, it's a totally different thing because men just operate differently. But with women, we gotta stop attacking other women, and whether they're wrong or not, let's go to the source of who wronged us and who said their vows with us or who made this commitment. They're the ones that need to be dealt with accordingly.
I wish that I had a male friend of mine. I call him a philosopher because one day we were having a discussion and I told him that any person that cheats, they're selfish. And he said, well, no, if a man cheats, it isn't selfish because the woman isn't losing anything. And I was like, what do you mean? He said, well, if a woman cheats, she's giving herself to someone. Like, physically, the man has to insert himself, this whole line, this whole thought that he had. But he said with a man cheating, the woman doesn't lose anything because she may not know about it. And I was like, bro, what? Like, the woman's losing trust. She's losing her spouse emotionally, physically. She's still it's still putting her in jeopardy, all of these things. So I wish, like, hearing our conversation, that I could have him online and he would probably play devil's advocate. And who knows, maybe that's something that we could look at in the future, having like a panel
Mhm.
of
Because that's
everybody.
absolutely not true.
Absolutely not true.
That's absolutely not true. Nobody should be cheating.
Yes. Say it again.
Nobody gets a pass.
Mm-mm.
I don't care. Like on the woman's side, if well, my husband's not giving me attention, there's no excuse. Did you go to your husband about it? And if he's not the one that can give you what you need, leave the man alone. But don't put him in that position. And then on the opposite side, now men are different. I have to be honest. They don't see now how men view cheating is different than women. So that's probably why he said that, because men, when they cheat, they don't have any feelings or emotions attached to it.
And that's what he says. I'm like,
And I
bro,
don't understand it, but that's really how they are. It doesn't
like
make
it's
sense.
like their ability to compartmentalize, but still doesn't make it right, y'all. Whoever, like,
It's still
we're not
not
saying that
right,
it's right.
but
We're just
they
breaking.
don't they see, because they'll say, hey, you have the house, you have the ring, you have the access to the money. They view sex differently. So therefore it's, but the kicker on it all is God.
Yes.
God is going to not punish, but they're going to have to answer for that. So just because they may justify it like that doesn't mean that they're free from persecution.
Amen.
They still have to answer. Now, whatever they do with that, that's on them. But women don't go searching for it.
That's a
Because
word.
I mean, it's like, if that's what that individual is, a grown person, if those are the choices that they made, they have to pay for that.
Yeah.
No matter how you slice it and say, well, just because of this, the man doesn't leave. When women cheat, they become emotionally connected. There's women that don't.
Yeah.
We're all different. So it's like, but it doesn't matter. What does God say about it?
You are not to
And
step out of that marriage, okay? The
no,
Bible
there are
says,
no.
oh, I was going to say, I don't have the exact scripture. Maybe it's in Proverbs, but don't quote me, okay? But it mentions how when a woman steps out, or when a man is cheated on in a marriage, like, now this is Old Testament, and I'm not saying that I agree with murder, okay? But this is what the word says in the Old Testament, that a man can go out and he can take the life of the man that was found cheating with his wife. And something else I'm not going to mention on here. You just got to go find the scripture. But I was like, that's serious. Okay. And
It
thou
is.
shalt not cheat. Okay. Thou shalt not lie. You're not supposed to be out here committing adultery in any form of fashion. Like when we go over 10 deadliest sins, although sin is sin, but cheating is one of them, or excuse me, adultery, stepping out of your marriage. Like God holds that as a covenant which is a promise that is covered by God. Like there is a covenant that we have when Jesus Christ died and shed his blood for us. And that's the same way that God looks at the covenant of a marriage. The word even says that a marriage is like we are the bride of Jesus Christ. Well, the church is the bride. So if you find yourself in the church, and all of us individually, not just the building, but us individually, our
We
churches,
are the church.
like
Yeah.
we are the church. We're married to Jesus Christ, and he holds that covenant, that commitment, and that promise with us. Don't you think and that's a heavy weight. Don't you think he has that same weight on marriage as well? Like, so just
You
as you
want to
keep bringing
know?
up God, I just wanted to bring that in there. Like, yes.
But you want to know why it's so deadly?
What is it?
Especially when kids are involved,
Yeah.
because in that whole marriage dissipates, you're hurting so many different generations. And so
Ooh.
your payback is tenfold. Because you didn't just hurt the wife or the husband. Now, if the husband or wife finds out you cheated, your kids have to, their parents are done. It breaks the home. Therefore, the child grows up and they may repeat that behavior, or they may be so broken. And it keeps generation after generation. That's why the payment is so bad. It's not just on that person. It's the family, as generations are destroyed from that. So it's not just about us, it's a bigger picture. That's why God holds it so seriously. So people can do what they want. but they are going to pay. The stories that I've seen, what I've heard throughout my years of life, my
Yeah.
19 years of life.
Right. Because you're only 19. Out here 19, but experienced, okay? Wise. Solomon
And
wisdom.
honey, they pay. When they pay, so sometimes it's physically with hell, sometimes it's mentally. They go lose their mind.
Yeah.
But
Financially.
honey, that payment is something else.
Mm.
And I don't want to be owing a payment.
We don't want
I
that
mean, it's
debt.
up to people if that's their lives, but I can't be responsible for what anybody else does, but I can be responsible for what Isabella does. And Isabella don't want to pay back that debt. I've seen it happen many, many times before. Now you can be forgiven if the person, but you still got to pay.
Mm.
So people gotta start taking this stuff seriously. They really do.
Repent and turn away from those wicked
You gotta
ways.
turn away. Yes,
Kill that temptation. Deal with it. Seek the help. There's help out there also.
it
I
is.
think that was so profound in how you highlighted like the recourse or the
Mm-hmm.
repayment is generational. You have that child that's now growing up in a broken home and now they're broken and
Mm-hmm.
they have to heal through that. And I would say, I was listening to this podcast and someone called in and she was saying how watching her father separate from her stepmom that it created such a shield in which she never desired marriage. So now you're
Yep.
living in now you have a life in which you're no longer even in a position where you can continue on this long legacy of what could be marriage or even having children. Because I think the woman also was
Mm-hmm.
with like didn't have any children, so it almost stops a whole generation right there at that.
Mm-hmm. That's why
Depending
it's
on
so
how
heavy.
yeah, how depending on how they're impacted by it. And then I looked after listening to that, I looked at myself and seeing I witnessed divorce with my mother and how there are some things that I'm like, I will not accept. I will not tolerate.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm single now. Not saying that the person I was
That's
last
a
in a
lot.
relationship with showed up in that way, but there are things that I'm not going to accept. And I'm like, all that's potentially a hindrance because just because of what I witnessed and saw doesn't mean I will experience that. But I want to
Mm-hmm.
protect myself so much to ensure that I don't experience it, that it could be a hindrance in a way. I don't know. I can
And it
unpack that.
is because you're coming in the gate out the gate with the wallet,
Mm,
and that wasn't your battle.
yeah.
We can't life circumstances and what just everything that happens to us we should learn from, but we shouldn't put a guard up and block our blessings because of it,
Mm.
because we're not
Oh,
there's things my parents got divorced. There was things that I said I wouldn't from both sides
yeah.
tolerate that, but what did they have to do with me? I
Mm,
slowly, or my first marriage, coming in with that hurt, I will not. This is a totally different person. I can't. All guards are down. Now, what they choose to, if they choose to make wrong choices and they hurt me, oh, I mean, it sucks, but I'm only going to grow stronger from it.
yeah.
So we can't come, and that's where the generation, because what if you say, hey, I didn't want to get married because I saw marriage fail, or I could have said, I'm not getting married. They failed after 20 some years.
Mm,
But that didn't stop me because I could have had that wall up. But that's why divorce is so ugly. And if the cause of divorce came from a sin, woo,
it's even
mm-mm. Generations can be destroyed from them.
that is so real. Woo, that's good. Y'all, are you enjoying this? If so,
Oh
write some fire
my God,
in the
I'm so excited.
comments. Okay. Let us know how you are engaged in this conversation. Any experiences that you have, put it in the comments. Reach out to us as well. And this is only part one of part two conversations. Y'all, I have this question for you, Izzy, and that is should or is it okay to stay in a relationships where stay in a relationship, not relationships, I hope y'all not out here dating multiple people at one time, okay? Is it ever okay to stay in a relationship where red flags exist if the partner is willing to work on them?
Absolutely, it's okay. Nobody's
Mm,
perfect. We all have red flags. Don't give up when the person is trying. It's
mm,
when the person gives in the towel that is no. That's why my first marriage ended, because they weren't even trying. If they were trying, there was many red flags, but I was willing to stay in the fight as long as they were trying and they showed up. They didn't even show up to the fight.
mm.
The stadium is full. I'm Mike Tyson, not that last fight. This fight, honey, tickets. I'm by myself. How am I gonna swing?
She said not the last flight. I mean fight.
Not that last raggedy one, but how am I gonna swing? I'm by myself. You didn't even show up. I
Mm,
can't. Then it's gone. I don't care how many red flags are there, as long as, because marriage is not easy. No
mm-hmm.
relationship is easy. No friendship. You got it. The person, both people got to show up, and when one doesn't even show up to the fight, then let it go. But as long as they're showing up and trying, and you see that, you know that in your heart, yes, hang in there.
Yes.
Yes,
Mm,
because
that's
you're
good.
both showing up. I
To
was
the
waiting for that one. I said, "Oh,
yeah.
I can't wait." Stop giving up on relationships.
Ooh,
Stop it when the
you talking to
person
me
is showing
personally.
up. Oh, I'm sorry. But I'm so
Oh
passionate about it
no, I like it
because
though.
I don't believe in giving up. I'm a fighter, and you are
Yeah.
too. We don't throw in the towel. Now, if the other person, now it's different with this. If you're in an abusive relationship, they're
Yes.
knocking you upside your head. Please forgive how, because it's not anything taken lightly or to be laughed at.
Right, right, right.
You ain't get out of there. Get out of there. Yes, get out of there. But if it's not abuse, yeah, some people say emotional abuse is just as toxic, if not worse. Absolutely. But
Mm-hmm.
sometimes people, depending on our background, we're abusive and we don't even know it.
Mm. That's
But
where
if
that
you make me,
introspection comes in.
yes, if you make me aware of my abuse and I'm showing that I'm fighting, I don't just say, oh, well, not trying. This
Mm.
is who you got. Then, but if I'm saying, hey, I hear you, I'm not perfect, but I'm willing to show up to this fight and I'm gonna keep showing up as long as you keep showing up,
Yeah.
then we're gonna make it work, because marriage is one of the hardest things ever. But it's so beautiful on the other side. Relationships is the hardest. Even just friendships we gotta pour into each other.
Yes.
Just because, like, you and I, we've been friends for well
18
over
years.
almost 10 years.
Right.
We never had an argument. Some relationships are easy. We never had one argument. Some
Mm-mm.
are you're gonna clash. That doesn't mean you give up.
Mm.
As long as the person shows up to the fight and is trying, then no, you don't throw in the towel. Mm-mm.
So good, y'all. Are you loving this? Listen. If you are, then you have to come back for part 2, in which we will dive into, all right, the red flags that women should look out for.
Mm-hmm.
Also, everything is a negative. So we're going to talk about green flags too. We're going to talk about the things that and how you can show up, how you should show up, what green flags to look out for, because we have the good with the bad. Everybody has their areas of growth. So we also want to highlight the good areas, as well as getting into that internal glow up, the mental, emotional, and spiritual. So make sure that you tune back in and look out for the notifications, because part 2 is fire. If you thought this was good, just stick around and make sure you come back, y'all. So we will see you soon. All right. The next episode will come out on February. Let me look at my calendar, y'all. February 17th on all streaming audio platforms as well as here on YouTube. Unless y'all want me to release it a little early, then I don't know. Maybe we can work something out. But until then, y'all stay blessed. Take care, and we'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Disclaimer: as a content creator with a background in psychology and ongoing studies, it's imperative that I note and clarify that I am not a licensed professional. The videos and podcasts I produce are intended for educational, entertainment, and transformational purposes only. While I strive to provide accurate information and insights, it's essential to consult with a licensed mental health clinician or a licensed mental health professional for clinical perspectives and personalized advice tailored to your specific needs. Your mental well-being is of the utmost importance to me, and seeking guidance from a qualified provider is encouraged for any concerns or issues that you may be experiencing.